What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Film Bros podcast. I'm your host, JP. This is my co-host, Josh.
Hello.
And today, we're here to bring you, because somebody decided to finally catch up, we're going to bring you guys our current state of the show, Andor.
To steal from the Empire? You just walk in like you belong. They're so proud of themselves. So fat and satisfied. They can't imagine that someone like me would ever get inside their house.
We got about 3 more episodes left. 12. There should be 12 in total coming out in the first season. We're going to give you our thoughts up until the 9th episode, and then starting next week, we will be breaking down every episode every week, and then have our final thoughts collected of the overall show when the last episode finally airs, right?
Yeah. Hopefully. That's the plan with Andor.
Everybody thank Josh for finally getting to the point where he needed to get.
You're welcome.
So, as we already know, we're 9 episodes in to Andor, right? So far, we've seen him start his journey in the first episode. It was looking for his sister. There were some flashbacks, all that. Wound up getting recruited by the rebels to go pull off a heist. Wound up pulling off that heist with a few of the rebel groups. I don't believe any of them survived. Or wait, nope. 2 of them survived. 3 of them survived. Yeah, 3 survived. He made it out of that whole situation unscathed, but then wound up landing himself in a prison cell. And that leads us to episode 9, where he's currently in the prison cell. His people is being interrogated. We'll go through every episode as we go down this list. So, Josh, first episode called Casa. What was your thoughts on that episode? Go ahead, start it off.
Well, I liked it. It was right off the bat, seeing him like enter that bar and stuff. You can tell right off the bat, you can kind of tell what kind of show this is gonna be. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He enters that bar. It's shady as hell. Right out the gate, you see those 2 guys try to harass him. It doesn't end up too well. They die.
Got dealt with.
They did, and then those 2 deaths pretty much caused a chain reaction.
Yep, it's what caused everything. He just had to lay low.
Yeah, that didn't happen. Just one guard that I don't remember his name. One dude that stuck his neck out too far, started poking his nose where he shouldn't have. Mm-hmm. It also his fault. You know what I mean?
No, well, I mean, I get what he wants. He's a tidy person. He's one of those people that wants to do everything by the book, and we'll see later on. That's why he admires the top investigator of the ISB, the blonde lady.
Yeah.
I forgot her name as well. I'll learn their names later. That's why he admires her so much later on in the show. But he's one of those thorough. He wants to get everything done by the book. Like he believes that's his job. You know, as you see throughout the show, and from what we've seen from him is like some Imperial officers take this to heart. They're like, this is my soul. I will die for the Imperial army. Like this is where I want to be. And it seems like he's shooting for more. I really like his character. His character is really good. He does stick his nose way too far, and it's a pain in the ass, but yeah, he gets dealt with for sure.
I don't know. Him sticking his nose out too far made him lose his job, so
that's true.
But first episode was really good. I did enjoy it.
Yeah,
pretty good.
I think it was a solid entry. I really feel like and a lot of people said the first episode was kind of sluggish. I don't think so. I honestly, the first episode was what cemented the show for me. The production value was great right off the bat. You could tell and I don't want to bag on Obi-Wan's show because I love that show, but the comparison between that one and Andor is completely different. So, like straight off the bat, the first episode had me hooked. We see him by the end of the first episode. We see Andor doing what? He was what was he doing?
Was he just laying low at that point?
Yeah, he was laying low just to avoid everything. He was trying to get all the heat off. He went back to Ferrix, and then that's when we get to episode 2. That would be me. That's what it's called. Yeah, he's laying low, making sure that, don't cause any attention, but the police are closing in on him.
Yeah.
The cop that we said in the first episode is looking for him very, very intensely. And this is, he's doing it behind everybody's backs. Because like I said, he wants to be the guy who does everything thorough while everybody's telling him, don't do it. Fake it. Make it look like an accident.
Yeah.
He's the one that wants to do it. Solid entry. This episode is great too.
Yeah.
Everything sticks together, and as I seen through the show, it's every little arc is 3 episodes. So it's the first one's the build up, the second one's that little in between where it's about to tip over, and then by that 3rd episode arc, like shit hits the fan. So what were your thoughts on this one?
Another solid episode. I did enjoy this one. It did feel for me. This one felt kind of slow because you can tell they were setting up.
Yeah,
they were setting up. Still pretty good. Like I really enjoyed Andor. He's trying to cover his tracks and survive and stuff. He's trying to get off planet quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Just really good. I got nothing much to say about this one.
I will say, and I will highlight in both of them, the flashbacks between him and his sister are like, it's so sad what happens. I believe it's the 2nd episode where they show that his mom, who picked him up, was, just somebody trying to save him from the Imperial Army, because they knew if they've seen the ship and there was a kid in there, he was going to be done for.
Yeah.
So it was cool that she picked him up, basically raised him. The dynamic between the two and what happens in the coming episodes between them, it really, I feel for them, man. It's a sad deal. That I really like the second one. Yeah, it could have been. I could see where you say it's kind of slow, but enrich your attention span. That's what I got to tell you. You just extend your attention span. That's all I got to tell you. You weren't watching the show, obviously, and that's why you think it was slow.
No, my attention span was expanded. I just know that it takes a minute to build up to things. That's it. I can admit that. Sometimes it just takes a minute. Whether it's slow in storytelling or dialogue or in anything like that.
Yeah.
You can just tell.
Which, in this show, speaking of dialogue, this show's dialogue is like completely different in my opinion. It's completely different from any Star Wars show or movie. Matter of fact, like this, the way they talk, and it always seems like every single episode, like it always has you at the edge of your seat. Like there's always that constant danger. Like who's gonna, and a lot of people are like, oh, what's gonna happen, what's gonna happen to him, all that stuff, but they still push on with it, and it still makes you worry for his character.
It's such a dumb argument, I think, hearing that, where they're like, "Oh, we know what happens. Like, we know he dies in Rogue One, whatever, right?" But like, there's a bunch more before that, and Star Wars is really good at like making you feel all those emotions for him, as well as like even in the Clone Wars, Anakin, we know what happens to him. Obi-Wan, we know what happens to him.
Yeah.
Ahsoka, we know what happens to her. Yoda, Dooku, all of them, you know what I mean? Like, we know what happens to them, but Star Wars is really good at, like, making you forget that.
You know what?
In the moment, you know what I mean?
And what's funny about you bringing that up, Star Wars perfected it because they've been doing it for years, all right? They've been killing characters before they even build them, and they're like, you know what?
Let's go back and build them.
Yeah, I think it was actually pretty interesting. Let's go back. Let's go back in time. So, I mean, Star Wars has been doing that, and I feel like they really, how you said, they perfected that craft. They know how to still make you feel something because they already know the audience knows that they're already done for. So yeah, this show, every single episode just got you on your toes. But moving on to episode 3, The Reckoning. That's when basically he's cornered, right? They're coming toward him. The cop already knew who he was. He assembled an army to go pick him up. He winds up meeting the rebellion leader. What's his name again? Oh, Luthen Rael.
Yeah,
He wound up finding him, and he was basically like, "Hey, you want to do something worthwhile? Come with me. I'm gonna help you get paid, and make you feel better about yourself and all that."
Yeah.
So, right before everything was gonna happen, there's this good action set piece, and it's funny that like the last 2 episodes they didn't need all that action to give you that, you know what I mean? It feels like it was a good payoff to sit through 2 episodes, get that dialogue, get that build up, and when the action piece actually happens in this one, when they're trying to escape and all the explosions and all that, it was great. The everything, the cameras, like the camera angles that they used, the everything about that whole scene. Andor is just a great show. They have not missed not once with every single episode that's passed, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they were building up to something, and then the third one, the payoff is so amazing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like the men had no idea what they were stepping into. All you really knew was you were searching for one dude in a town that looked empty as hell. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So like, and then the fact that him and what the dude's name, the
rebel leader.
Is he a leader? I thought he was just like the intel guy.
He's just an intel, just the in between, trying to get the money from one spot to another. He's basically funding it from behind the scenes. So he's just doing his best to play both roles. I would say he's kind of a leader because like how you said, how you seen, I don't want to like jump the gun, but how you see in the next episode that he kind of like tells them like, hey, you're gonna either take them or the thing's off. You know what I mean? You're not gonna do a mission without proper enough people, stuff like that, because we know it's gonna fail. So he knows he's directing it. He's one of the people. Same with and we'll see her later on in the show too. Mon Mothma. Yeah. It was crazy to actually see her as an interactive character throughout the show. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I'm jumping the gun. I'm jumping all over the place, but it's because this show is so good. It's so hard to just and it does a great job to glue itself together. Like I said, those build-ups into that third act arc or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, like it just flows together, and it's great. It's cohesive.
Oh yeah, the third episode really good. No real complaints here. The action piece was great, and then they escape, which but it's good to know that there was a lot of setup before that, because you can't just have them get away. You know what I mean? Yeah. You have to have the bad guys look in one direction so they can escape. You know what I mean? So It was really good.
Well said. And that takes us to episode 4, and that one's called Aldhani. Basically, Cassian is set up with the rebels to go ahead and stage in regular terms, a bank heist. They were getting up in there. Yeah. They were trying to rob an Imperial garrison. They were planning it thoroughly. They needed one more man to ensure that they were going to make it out, and also to help with the ship. He fit the description, and in this one, you can kind of, tell that these rebels don't trust nobody, right? They're not trusting anybody, so he's trying to figure out them while they're trying to figure out him. And then you also get a taste of the political side and all the funding that goes into, funding a rebellion, because you don't just get guns out of anywhere, Mm-hmm. You need the money, you need to be able to pay people, so the rebel leader, he's doing his best behind the scenes, and that's when we meet Mon Mothma, find out that she's a part of it as well. They're trying to talk, but it just seems like everybody's just focused on her, watching her every move. Like she can't turn to nobody. She's so isolated. She's been funding, and she's saying that she's tapped out as well. She can't really make a lot of big moves because then she's gonna look at like the bad guy in risk her, livelihood, and that's not what she wants. But yeah, this episode, it does a great job setting up all the characters. Even when I first watched it as well, I knew not all the rebels were gonna make it out alive. So the fact that they made me feel something for all of them, like I was just, hey, this show was A1.
Yeah, I really do enjoy the political side. I know people like, ooh, Star Wars isn't political. No, it's always been political.
It's been a political thing.
Yeah.
For the longest.
Yeah.
Literally, the prequel trilogy is all about politics.
Exactly. I really enjoy that they show that side because it feels like they didn't really do too much with that until Rogue One. So the fact that they're spending time to be like, yeah, like there's still politics, even though they all answered to Palpatine and stuff. It's just good to see that side. I did enjoy the fact that they don't trust each other. It's hard to trust each other when, spies are everywhere. The Empire is just one giant fist, and eventually you'll get caught.
Yeah.
For example, what's his name? The one that was working, he was working with them or whatever, the Empire.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't know he was a rebel.
Yeah.
Same thing, you don't know if this rebel was really an Empire dude. You know what I mean? It's just hard to trust people, I would imagine.
Yeah, this one, it showed a lot. It gave us a little taste of what's behind the scenes.
Yeah.
What gave us the big reveals was episode 5, the Axe Forgets. That's when he's basically dealing with all the mistrust. The last episode was him, meeting them, trying to get learn their characteristics, stuff like that. This one, he's front and center with them. They're blaming him, saying, we can't trust them, stuff like that. We got a couple of them having cold feet. I thought it was really cool that they showed that Cassian can, like, look at people and know what they're about. So, like, when he was talking about the gun and, being on the left side and or be on the right side, you switch over there, and they questioned him, and he was like, well, no. I know what I'm talking about. I see how people act, and like you can tell he scans people and just is like, no, we're doing this, we're putting them there. This is how it's gonna work, because he knows that his life is on the line, and he's not gonna put his life in anybody else's hands but his own. As you can tell, like throughout that series, like he's just been a lone dog. He wants to help, but he's helping for himself ultimately. Yeah. What you think?
This was a good one. Kind of like episode 2. I did think this one was slow, but that's because it's setting up. I understand that. But still pretty good. Like, maybe a little bit better than episode 2 in that sense, because I did like the tension between him and the rest of the people in the group. Because, again, they don't know how to trust each other, so they're doing the best they can. Especially Andor, who joined them 3 days prior. Like, maybe the group knows each other, but they're not going to know Andor. He's just been dropped on their door, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Saying that they need a pilot. Here's a pilot. Take it or leave it.
Yeah.
It's just a really good episode. We'll talk about my favorite one.
Okay. Well, this one, for sure, one detail that really popped out to me was when they had like the TIE fighters out there and everything, and this one TIE fighter who was just being a dick and just fucking, was trying to scare them off by driving so close to the ground.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think we've ever had a live action Star Wars show or movie where they actually have, real scenery behind it and just putting that TIE fighter within the scene, Like, I feel like it gave it a lot more realism to see that they shot on location. They put these TIE fighters there and actually did it. They had to have done it in some way where it was practical, at least behind the scenes, and then add that little effect where the TIE fighters, I feel like it just made it look 10 times better. Like I said, I don't think we've seen one in live action where it's not just all CGI everywhere, CGI planes, mountains, stuff like that. Like, this one was all shot on location. And, like, that TIE fighter getting down there, that water sprite, like, it looks so real. It's crazy.
The only thing that I can really think of, because they've kind of been doing, like, on-location shooting with all the shows.
No, all the shows have been that TV screen, the LED.
Really?
Yeah, even Obi-Wan.
Damn.
That's why Obi-Wan looked weird.
Oh, I don't know. I thought that one looked the most grounded. You know what I mean?
Really, Obi-Wan? No,
Yeah.
I feel like Andor looks the most grounded. Obi-Wan was, yeah. I mean, you try not to get distracted by all of it, but like you can tell when they're using the LED screen sometimes.
Right.
And they've been doing that with mostly all the shows because the Mandalorian kind of was like the groundbreaking test run, and people loved it and they did a good job with it, so that's why they used it for more. And I think that they were hoping to translate it well with the Obi-Wan, but it did not catch on, and so I think that's why they kind of split it between the two to see which one has like the better go around. Which they should have done this with Obi-Wan and maybe the TV screen with Andor. I feel like Obi-Wan's the bigger character, but hey, what do I know? We just here to talk about the stuff, right?
Yeah, moving on.
But yeah, so they're prepping, they're getting their mistrust in order in this one, which leads us to the eye. The mission begins. The break-in into the Imperial garrison. They get up in there. They, there were some chalky times. Vel was kind of scared to jump off the bridge. It got really choppy and hairy at one point, and not everybody made it out alive. That ex-Imperial trooper didn't make it out. The commander who was actually on the inside, he didn't make it out. The young kid, I'm not sure if he died or not. I'm hoping he didn't die. It left me wondering. Did you think he died in that
Which one?
episode? The little skinny kid, the nerd.
Didn't he get shot in
No,
the
he got
ship?
he got slammed by the crates,
Oh,
by the money.
I assume he's dead.
Oh damn, sucks. So if he's dead, then that's sad because I was really hoping that he survived it. And then we got the dude that was trying to be a traitor and got blasted on by Andor. So
Yeah.
it was really sad when the one girl left, but at the time I thought that she was gonna be left there to just basically deal with all the consequences, but she got out alive. She wound up making it. This one was really good. This one was the build up. This one was the big payoff, and boy did it pay off. A heist movie in Star Wars, sign me up again. Yeah, like if they could do that again and wow me the way that they did. So how precise, how technical, you saw how ruthless the rebellion is, because I'm sure in the beginning they didn't think, we got to be the higher people. I'm pretty sure they were like, hey, we're fighting fire with fire. You're killing our people, we're killing your people. It's easy as that, And you could tell like it's all mistakes. People can't be perfect, but at the end of the day, they did what they had to do, and I would say this episode was my favorite one by far. So
Yeah, this one was my favorite.
Yeah.
The heist was great. I enjoyed all of it. The tension, like you really felt for the Imperials in this one, which doesn't really happen. You know what I mean? They're just like, damn, if we don't move, we're gonna get shot. Because a lot of it was so technical, very very good, very Ocean's 11 of them. My favorite part, I don't know. Star Wars just does scenery. So seeing all the colors in the sky, bro.
Oh yeah.
I was blown away. I was like, this looks so beautiful. Just the way it starts over the horizon and then you see all the colors rise, you know what I mean?
Star Wars, the scenery, right?
It was really good. And then the fact that they used it to their advantage, even better. Like, those TIE fighters didn't stand a chance. Like, their ships have always sucked. So, like...
I don't know who thought, like, hey, I'm going to chase them in that. But it wouldn't have been me. I would have...
I know. You would think the Empire would be smart enough to be like, hey, that's the asteroid thing that comes over every 3 years. We shouldn't chase them through that.
But I think it kind of shows, too, how, like, the Empire don't give a shit about anybody. Not even their own people. They're going to send you to go do whatever dirty work they need you to do, and you're going to do it. And if you don't do it, you're suffering the consequences.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that episode was great. Yeah, that whole
really good.
meteor shower and everything, that was great. I thought Diego, that's his real name. I thought Cassian was going to actually... take the offer and split the money with him and try to leave. So when he just pulled out the gun and shot him in the quickness, my jaw dropped. I was like, okay, So he's starting to, feel for the rebellion. He saw all the hurt, all the heartache that happened within the mission, and was like, you know what? People are dying for this, and you're gonna, be selfish like this. And so I think that's why the reason why he kind of pulled the trigger. He knew that it wasn't gonna end well, and he just wanted to stop him in his tracks.
Yeah, that's the only way I can think about it too. There's not much of an option because sure he could have been this like let's go, let's just split it, take our halves and go. But I mean, he was part of that crew, and like as much as they didn't want to trust each other, by the end of it, he lost a lot of people, more than I'm sure they were expecting to get away with. They were hoping it was gonna be smooth sailing. We're gonna get the money. We're all gonna be out there, split it, whatever. But I mean, they lost people, and then, there's just him shooting him was like you said. It's just him starting to care about the purpose and the rebellion itself.
Yep. Yeah, I like how they laid down that groundwork and the seeds that show that he's not just gonna just flip over one day. Like he's kind of torn in the middle, still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
But that leads us to episode 7, the announcement. Basically the ripple effect of the heist. It's going all the way back home to Imperial Base at the Galactic Senate, right? Over there in Coruscant. You see the ISB woman, the blonde hair lady, is over here noticing the pattern, noticing the something fishy's happening. Her co-worker is being an asshole and trying to dismiss it, but she's over here pursuing because she believes in the mission, and she believes that people are trying to hurt her, her empire, which, I'm sure they all see it as a piece of their own empire. That's why they protect it so well, right? Cassian's back on Ferrex trying to get his things in order so he can dip. This episode was I would say this episode was kind of a slow one, but at the same time it was that build up, in my opinion. He was hiding out, had to do his own thing, trying to lay low, wound up leaving, and we'll see in the next episode what basically happens. He does leave. He goes on his own. He's fine. They're still looking for him, and then he gets caught up, not by the heist, but because he was just a bystander who was scared of getting caught, and wound up getting 6 years without even getting the right evidence, right? So he got 6 years and got transferred to prison, and yeah, we see him in jail now.
I still think that was racially motivated. There's no way. What do you call it? That stormtrooper was like on his ass from the jump.
I like that we saw the KCSO in this one as well. The robot from
the
Robo.
droid.
Yeah.
It was a good episode. You can tell he wasn't doing any life-changing events after the heist.
No,
he did want to lay low with his money and stuff. He gets caught up for 6 years, a sentence that would have taken him 6 months. That's crazy. But because of the heist, and it escalated, and they don't even know he's the one that did it. You know what I mean? Because they're looking for Andor, but because of his fake name and stuff, he what's his name? Keith, whatever his name is, his fake name.
Oh yeah.
What do you call it? Cleef, something like that. They don't know it's him. It's so interesting to watch because they're trying to chase him, but they don't even know that they have him locked up.
They already have him. They don't even know. And so, I mean, I believe it was in earlier episodes, but in this one as well, the security guy, he's already working at his other job. He's having those interactions with his mom where, like, his mom seems a little disappointed in him and stuff like that because, he was trying to do his job and wound up losing his job. I do like the interactions between them. And in this episode as well, it kind of shows why he's so organized and so thorough is because his mother pushes him kind of to go that way, right? We see the ISB basically chasing their own tail because they're trying to get to him, but they already have him locked down. Yeah, that everything, all the aspects, all the cops that are working to get this one man because they believe he's the key to it all is hilarious to me. But it just shows like how in the grand scope of everything, you can't see everybody, so he can easily slide through as long as he doesn't make too big of a noise, you know. And I feel like this in the last episode, it was just too big for him to handle.
It focused a lot more in episode 7. It did focus on that dude a lot more because now he just doesn't know what to do with himself. You know what I mean? He was let go for pretty much trying to do his job.
Yeah.
That didn't happen. He loses men. They're all demoted, fired, whatever. He's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's just trying to get his bearings back. He chose not to work, or maybe I forget. Does he take the job where he works like
In that cubicle?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
See, he takes a lesser job. He doesn't, he doesn't like it from what we can tell.
No, but he just wants to make his mom proud.
Yeah. So like he's clearly falling apart
Yeah.
because he doesn't have a way to feel useful now, but he still wants to serve, and do his due diligence.
Yeah, because he is a very thorough man. So it's interesting when the ISB pick him up and question him about, everything that happened and how they were like, well, you signed your name on this report. And he was like, I was forced to. I didn't want to. I didn't want to lie. This is what I wanted. I wanted to help you guys. And you guys are doing my job. So it's interesting to see that he's kind of getting recruited back slowly, because she even said like she was going to do something for him and see if, what she can do to get him his foot back into the door, right?
Yeah. But I think he's gonna end up being way more of a problem than he is to her, because she was fed up by the time he was asking to be helpful and stuff.
Yeah.
So she was just like, you know what, we'll contact you if we need you again.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so that leads us to episode 8. Narkina 5. That's the prison that he gets sent to, which is a crazy prison. They wear these freakishly looking boots just so they don't get electrocuted, the security guards. Everybody's barefoot there. They have them in there. They basically, what's crazy is that the Empire uses people that are in jail as slave work, and they work them, and they give them these overdone sentences just so they can keep them working and keep production going and, get the things that they need. It's cheap labor. All they got to do is give them a place to sleep, give them food to eat, make sure they can't leave, and that's it.
Yeah, it's weird because like you see it and you're like, damn, that's messed up. But it really makes you think that like you were saying earlier, it's it helps production. Like, where they're getting these pieces from. It's being assembled by labor workers in prison.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like they've only been doubling sentences, right? Because they said they only started doubling them once the heist happened. So again, another repercussion of the heist and the rebels doing their thing caused prisoners to like get their sentences jawed up.
Yep.
It's fucked up.
Yeah.
It's so bad to think.
I mean, you try to do some good, there's gonna be some bad. I think the rebellion kind of sees it as, we'll save more if we, do what we got to do at this point.
Yeah.
Andy Serkis makes his return to Star Wars. Last time we seen him, he was split in half.
Yeah.
He just did the voice work and the movements for Snoke in the sequel trilogy, and we saw the return of Saw Gerrera. I like that he's in the mix. I know that they use him a lot, but I think he's a good representation of how far is too far. He's kind of the extremist kind of group. He wants to do it for good, but he's not doing it for all the right reasons. Having to the rebellion to have to shake his hand to do what they need is, you could tell the tension. Like, they don't want to be aligned with the extreme side, because the extreme side is going to have a lot more pushback, because if, you're hurting innocent people along with the bad guys, and, you're not gonna be perceived as well.
Yeah. That's always been his thing when we first met him in the Fallen Order. You know, like he was trying to help the Wookiees and stuff by removing the Imperials and stuff.
Yeah.
But you saw they took down like the AT-ATs, and it took a
they
big
slaughter
effort.
everybody.
Yeah, it's not really like just do your job, and
it's not make them
it'll get
retreat.
done.
It's no surrender till death. Like that's that's why you see in Rogue One, he was like, you know what, they got me cornered. There's no more fight in me, and at this point, it's a done deal. Like they had me, and that's why he just gave it up. He knew that either they were gonna die or he was, and you can tell, like even in the show, that he still has that mentality. He's just an extremist. He wants to do what he wants to do. He wants to align himself with more people, but he knows that if he does, then he needs to reel it back a little bit. He don't want to do that.
No, he does not. Which is good. It's good that he's sticking to his values, and they're not showing him really backing off until we see it happen, and it pretty much gonna end up benefiting him more. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And like back to Andy Serkis, God, he's a phenomenal actor, bro. Like actors like him who can just take the role and just be like make you believe everything is just wow. Like he made me think he was in a Star Wars jail for over 60 years, bro. I was watching, I was like, man, this guy, he got the chops. And I like I like what he was doing in that in the episode. He's running the shift tightly, but it's all because ultimately he wants to leave, and he has that hope that he's gonna leave. So he is doing the most that he can to ensure that until the next episode. But like he just wants to make sure that he gets out.
Yeah,
because that's what he believes.
Yeah, it's good. It's really weird because you have the people that are willing to accept that, and then there's people that are like, nah, we're not really getting out of here. You know what I mean? Like some of them hold out hope, and he's one of them. Until next episode, he's expecting to get out if he runs his floor well, gets his people to do their work and whatnot. While other people are like, no, we're not getting out and stuff, and then it leads to that guy who gets electrocuted, kills himself pretty much, because he'd rather die than have to live out a double sentence because, what the Empire does, whatever.
Yep. And that leads us to episode 9. So now we're all caught up. This one's called Nobody is Listening, which is very fitting for the episode because he starts aligning himself with other people trying to escape, because he knows that he's not going to spend 6 years there. He knows he's not going to do that. So he's doing his best. He's learning the inner workings. He's trying to get questions from Andy Serkis to help him out. He's like, no, I'm not going to do it because, there's ears within the walls, and as Andor was saying, he doesn't care. They're not going to, since they've been saying since the beginning, they don't care. The Empire doesn't care about anybody. Why would they care? When it kind of reminds me of Avatar, but like, how he says, when you're the big cat, you don't have to look up, you don't have to look behind you, you're not walking around scared. So the Empire's the big cat, right?
Yeah,
they're not scared. They know they got the numbers, they know they got the people. So why listen to small uprisings? You know what I mean? Until it turns into this massive thing, they're not gonna worry about it.
Yeah. So
he's trying to get the help, but you got people still scared, saying people are gonna die if you don't do what they say. But little does he know, you're gonna die regardless. Once they're done using you, and it's a wrap.
That's why it's his hope that he's gonna get out, and that if he does everything by the book, he's gonna get out. It leads. We see Olaf. He's getting weak. He's an already old, frail man.
Oh, sad.
What do you call it? He only had 40 shifts. By the time he collapses and stuff. Spoilers, by the way, we're sorry. Spoilers.
Oh yeah, I know the 9th episode barely came out last night, but
came out.
Yeah, we're in spoiler territory.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, oopsie.
What do you call it? But Olaf, he falls, he collapses. They try to keep him up because if they lose a man, they lose production. He falls.
By the way, that perseverance that old man had to finish the shift at least.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, go Olaf for it.
Mm-hmm.
They call the doc. Doc says he's not getting out of here. He already had a stroke. He puts him down as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that thing where Andy Serkis is like, okay, now I know what's gonna happen here. I'm probably gonna die here, so my best chances are trying to get out.
Well, no, that's not the reason why they got tipped off. The reason why is because, as you've seen earlier in the episode, everybody was freaking out, right? Everybody was freaking out because level 2 was something was happening on level 2. It turns out the person that was supposed to leave was was put back in a different floor, level 2, and it got wind, and people were starting to riot up or get upset and be like, "Well, we're never gonna leave. We're never gonna leave." So they just did pure genocide on them and just lit them all up in level 2, and that's what was the problem. That's what happened. They basically, like, and it kind of leans into George Lucas's vision that the empires are actual Nazis, bro. Like, they put them in chambers. When they're done using them, they're just gonna dispose of you, you know. And so that's what tipped them over and was like, "Well, I'm not even getting out of here." If somebody was able to supposedly leave and then just go back, when they're done, they're done. They're just gonna finish you off, and that's it. And if they don't care, they'll roast the whole tunnel, because it doesn't matter. Like how you said in the last episode, because of what had happened, they were bringing a lot more people in, so they already know they're gonna be getting a lot of people. That was the issue when he got locked up. I don't think so much racially motivated. They just wanted to get a reason to get more people into that facility.
Yeah, but that it tips him over, and eventually, by the end of the episode, he's like, "Okay, Andor, I'll answer your question finally. There's no more than 12 guards.
Yeah.
They need that information to escape."
Yeah, he was withholding it because, walls have ears. And then on the ISB side of this episode, we got Homeboy getting his second shot, but he is so persistent and wants to work with the blonde so bad that he's outright just trying to find her and trying to, be like, "Hey, you're doing a good job, but, I want to help you."
Yeah.
And so she kind of got weirded out by it, and ultimately, I think, if I remember correctly, they had a lead, right? And she was just gonna interrogate from afar.
The pilot.
Yeah, the pilot. There you go. And then they were like, "Oh, we're gonna make it look like an accident now." So I'm excited to see what happens in the next episode with that. I hope they show us what's gonna happen. Like I said, it's gonna be the last 3 episodes. It's gonna be a crazy ending for sure, and I can't wait for a second season. I'm hoping that now that it doesn't have a lot of competition, She-Hulk and all that, I kind of feel like they put out the show at the wrong time. House of Dragon, She-Hulk, all those extra shows were kind of pulling attention away. So I'm hoping that they show gets a little bit more recognition, a little bit more attention, and we get the 3 seasons that were promising.
Yeah, no, I think it definitely should get its seasons now that I've seen it and caught up. It's so good.
So far, this show has me hooked. I love it from episode 1 to 9. Had one little slow point in my opinion, but it picked up real quick right after that. Yeah. What are your thoughts on the show so far? 9 episodes.
9. It's good for the 9 episodes. Yeah, slow points and stuff, but that's because they're building up. But no real complaints. This is a really good show. I know it took me a minute to watch it, but if you're a Star Wars fan and you're not watching it, you definitely should.
Yeah, it's really good. It's amazing. But yeah, with that being said, questions for y'all. What are you guys thinking about Andor so far? You guys rocking with it? Y'all hate it? Is it too slow? Is it too serious? Is it not Star Warsy enough? Let us know. Let us know.
Do you need more lightsabers?
More boom, 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 boom. Where's Darth Vader? Let us know at FilmBros Podcast on Twitter. We also are on Spotify. We're also on Apple Podcasts, and now we're also on YouTube. We will be making YouTube videos soon, but for now, we have all of our previous podcasts in their entirety on YouTube. So if you guys are trying to hear those, feel free to check them out, and don't forget to do what? Follow,
and subscribe.
follow, do all that stuff right now.
Yeah, just do it.
Just do it. Yeah, that's the end of the show. We'll see you guys on the next one.
See you guys.
Late.